This is Anthony Richardson, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is AJ Brown, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
This is Josh Allen, and you're listening to RosterWatch.
Yes, RosterWatch Nation, what is up? And welcome back to the epic RosterWatch Pick'em Show, Thursday night edition. Again, we go live Monday, Thursday, and Friday doing Underdog Pick'em shows, talking to you about the best picks that you can possibly make. Right now in the season, we're sitting at 62% for the weekend slate. For the primetime slate, we're right at 50% this year. We're struggling a little bit, but we're trying to get back on the high horse this week. Broncos and Saints on Thursday night football. This one on paper, listen, it might not be a good game. The Saints are completely dismantled at every position on offense right now, including no Chris Olave, including no Rashid Shaheed, no Derek Carr. Alvin Kamara's there. Kendre Miller is going to be back, but the injury report that I'm looking at here is deep. It's like 20 deep. No Taysom Hill. Lucas Patrick's currently questionable. I know the inactives are going to be coming out here in just a few minutes. The game kicks off in just under 2 hours. This Denver-New Orleans game, I think it just centers around Sean Payton returning to New Orleans with his prized position, his quarterback, Bo Nix. It'll be an interesting game. That's going to be the bottom line. We're going to give you 4 picks tonight using Underdog. Underdog, you can sign up with that promo code on the screen right now. 50% deposit bonus up to $250 when you sign up for the very first time. Again, the QR code is right there on the right side of the screen. We appreciate you. We love you for tapping in. Please click that like button. Please click subscribe when you do jump on in here. Right now, the spread in this game is 2.5 points in favor of the Denver Broncos with an over-under total of 37.5. A putrid 37.5. On the Denver Broncos side of things, there's no Pat Surtain. Damari Mathis, the second-year cornerback, is questionable. He had full practices all week, so we expect him to play. Baron Browning, their super athlete linebacker, was he a third-year guy now out of Ohio State, is going to be playing. He's questionable with a foot injury. Mike McGlinchey, the tackle, is questionable with a knee injury. He did get a full practice in, though, on Wednesday. So the first and foremost, one of my favorite picks of the entire week has to be centered around the one and the only Alvin Kamara, right? The most talented player on the field, I could say, top to bottom, for either team. Alvin Kamara right now, his numbers over on Underdog sit currently at, where did it go? I just had it up here. He's sitting at 4.5 receptions. They had a target number up for Alvin Kamara, but it disappeared. So his receiving number is currently phased out. You can't currently jump on the receiving number, which is 37.5 receiving yards. His total rushing number, rushing plus receiving, is 107.5. His rushing attempts is 16.5. His receiving number by itself is, well, actually there's 2 receiving numbers. So they have a 37.5 that you can go higher or lower, but then they have a 29.5 number that you can get 0.8x your money on. So again, my favorite one here is the 4.5 receptions for our guy Alvin Kamara. At one point there was targets up. I believe the target number was 7. And he's hit that each of the last few games. I'm trying to pull up the historical here. There's other markets you can get 5. So I like the 4.5 number, especially here in Underdog. The last 3 games, these are Alvin Kamara's receptions numbers: 5, 6, and 7. That's against Tampa, Kansas City, and Atlanta earlier this year with Derek Carr. It was Philadelphia and Dallas. He only had 2 and 3. But this game, again, we're talking about the mainstays in this offense being Juwan Johnson, Bub Means. We're talking about Mason Tipton, the rookie undrafted kid out of Yale. We're talking about Foster Moreau. Alvin Kamara, as you guys watched at the end of that game last week against Tampa, dink, dink, dink. That's not dink, dink, dunk. That's all I'm looking for right now out of Alvin Kamara. 4.5 receptions to me is an absolute hammer tonight for the New Orleans Saints. Let's stay in New Orleans and let's go to his counterpart here, Bub Means. Bub Means, his number is 3.5 receptions tonight as well. So again, we're talking about Kamara 4.5 and Means at 3.5. A number of other things you could take with Means: 35.5 receiving yards. He's a rookie out of Pittsburgh. This is a guy that we saw down at the Shrine Bowl. He's built kind of like a Laviska Shenault, a very I don't want to say boxy, but a very stout built lower body guy at the wide receiver position for the New Orleans Saints that I think can create with the ball in his hands. So I think the receiving number is interesting, 35.5 receiving yards. If you were looking to take some more stuff with him, the 16.5 longest receptions, far too high for Means, in my opinion. I think that number should probably be closer to like 12.5, 13. So I could definitely jump on the lower longest reception. I know that failed for us last week with Rashid Shaheed on Monday Night Football against the Chiefs, but I do believe with Bub Means that number is definitely under here. If you wanted to go somebody with the higher for the longest reception, that would be Mason Tipton. I don't know if they have that number out here. I'm going to check live because I actually have not looked at that one. Longest reception, 13.5. That would be an interesting one as well. You could go higher for that. I'm just giving you options. But what I do love in this one is Mr. Bub Means. Bub Means saw some of his first game action this past week, again, with the injury to Chris Olave. So you're getting him at 3.5 receptions right now. Last week, he did have 5 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The last game he played was against Carolina. He had 0. Again, if you're listening along, we appreciate you. Please click that like button. Please click subscribe here on the Roster Watch YouTube. If you are here on the Roster Watch Twitter channel, please, again, click follow, click like, click retweet, drop a comment, and I appreciate you guys jumping on in here. Money B! Let's get some winners. We're going to get some Thursday night winners, and then when we jump on football with friends here in a little bit, I'm going to see if I can get Alex to talk about some like Virginia Tech action tonight against Boston College. We'll see what we can do, Money B. Mojo, should I start the Broncos or Bengals defense this week? I personally would start. I mean, I know the Bengals are playing the Browns, but the Broncos are playing the Saints. And this game to me, I know the total, I think I just said it was set at 37.5. This game to me is a true 9-6 or 9-3 game. I'm sure Denver scores once to make it probably 16-6, 16-3. I would play the Denver Broncos tonight against our guy, Spencer Rattler. And I do actually like Rattler, but I think this game is going to be horrendous. I think you're going to get a lot of opportunities for sacks on this this very good Denver front seven. So I do like that. All right. Speaking of Spencer Rattler, they got a rushing number out here for Spencer Rattler on the offensive side of the football. 21. Where is it? Is it 21? I put it up here. 22.5 was the number. I think it just adjusted to 21. 22. He had 27 last week against Tampa. Again, they got down big in that game. Tampa's got a good front line. So does Denver. That's why I like it here. The other lines that you can get for Spencer Rattler in this one, 185.5 passing yards, 211 passing plus rushing yards, 29.5 pass attempts. The rushing yards is right at 22.5. Like I said, I'm going higher. That's one of my picks this week. So again, we have Alvin Kamara, 4.5 receptions higher. Bub Means, 3.5 receptions higher. Then we go Spencer Rattler, 22.5 rushing yards. That's the one I'm going to take here. I could see you doing other stuff like the interception. I could potentially see taking the lower on passing yards, 185.5 for Spencer Rattler. I could definitely jump in on that. We do have to have one selection from that other feisty football team, the Denver Broncos. You can't just have all your selections from one team. They don't let you do that over there on Underdog, but Underdog is very cool. They're giving us very good lines this week, and we're going to go ahead and take mad advantage of these. Devon Vele's receptions, 3.5 receptions here for the Denver Broncos. You're actually getting quite a bit of juice here, 1.12x your cash. Against the Chargers this last week, 6 targets. Against Seattle in his last game at the beginning of the season, September 8th, the week 1, 8 targets. His receptions tonight, 3.5. Again, he's got Sutton there. They've got Troy Franklin there, who's finally started to catch a couple footballs, but Vele was back active. And we have 2 game sample size for Vele. Again, week 1 when he was targeted 8 times, and this past week when he's targeted 6 times. They like Vele. We heard that all camp. Vele. I like it. 3.5 receptions for Vele. So it's going to be a big reception night here. We got Bub Means, 3.5 receptions higher. Alvin Kamara, 4.5 receptions higher. And we got Devon Vele, 3.5 receptions higher. So a lot of these numbers are very mediocre, but I do believe that they all come through and crush for us. Spencer Rattler, again, 22.5 rushing yards. Best ball on call. Broncos D feels like the most smash ever. 100%. I agree, brother. I appreciate you tapping in. And I also think Mojo should go ahead and ride with those Broncos. Again, if you want to get any more questions answered this weekend, we will have the Start Sit show on Sunday morning, 9 a.m. We do have the London game. I might not go live until 10 a.m. I might wait a little bit into that London game before I go live. But we'll be live on Sunday morning doing start sit. So tap in, tune in. We appreciate you. We love you. We'll be live twice tomorrow. I'm flying out to Austin, Texas in the morning to go see Alex. We'll be live twice tomorrow doing the Circa Millions show and also doing the weekend Underdog Pick'em show. Again, click that, scan that QR code on the right side of the screen. Go to underdogfantasy.com today. Get a 50% deposit bonus up to $250. I appreciate you. I love you. And I'll see you. Enjoy your night. Enjoy some very bad football, but win some cash while you're doing it. We'll see you tomorrow night.